our hosts.
Good evening. It's Sunday night. It's very nearly 8 o'clock. It's DPMF Live, back with another fat one. As ever, I got Dan the Man, we got Mike, we got Wicked Wes, and Live Free. Tonight we are bringing on board Zaid from VerseX, and we're going to hear all about what's going on in VerseX world. If you didn't catch last week's show, it's on the YouTube channel. Please go and have a listen. It's good insight and actually leads on quite nicely to tonight with 3D, NFTs, etc. So please please share the space. Come join our ride through the crypto universe. Dan, this is episode 79. Do you want to fill us in with the markets?
I do. How's it going, Palace? Have we got everyone on, have we?
Yeah, I think everyone's here.
Is it? Okay, yeah, it's just come up. Right, so, ranked at number one, Bitcoin, sitting at $119,000. It has had a recent high. Do you know how high it went to?
No, go on.
It went to $123,000 this week. Up 30% year to date. I think it's the highest it's been. Currently hovering around the 116 and 180.
So it's only down from here then?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. We're going to talk about it on a unrecorded space. Ethereum's ranked at number 2, sitting at $3,852. Our XRP is at $3.20, which is down 9.16% on the 7-day. Tether is ranked at number 4. We spoke a little bit actually last week about the Genius Act coming in, pushing legislation which could allow traditional banks to issue stable coins, which may be a little bit of a push of Tether out the way with regulation.
I've got a few more little nuggets in regards to that. Now I don't know how reliable this is, so don't quote me. I know it's a recorded space and everything, but apparently President Putin is doing a stable coin that is going to be implemented by September 2026. So even not just America getting crypto friendly, it seems like it's spreading across the world. The other bit of nuggets I got, right, apparently again this is down to the X space reliability, unsure, but in the next 48 hours Ripple is going to be given a banking license, apparently. If that happens and the case comes, guess what's going to $7?
Well, it won't be XRP.
It will move, but which direction?
Of course it's going to move.
Dude, how many times has XRP had awesome news and it does absolutely blip to the chart?
Buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, look, I'm just continuing the bullish theme from last week, alright? So, don't shoot the messenger. This is just what I've heard. That's it.
I actually thought, because last week when I see XRP was at $3.60, I thought it was at about $2.40, because I hadn't looked at the charts for ages. So when it was there, I was like, oh, right, that was the target for me. So during the show, I was like, right, I didn't expect that. Anyway, shall I continue, Palace?
Yes, mate. I don't know where you got to.
I've got two. Ranked at number 5 is BNB, Binance, sitting at $826, currently up 10% on the 7-day. Ranked at number 6 is Solana at $188, up 3% on the 7-day. USDC at number 7. Dogecoin is at 24 cents, down 11.98% on the 7-day. Ranked at number 9 is Tron at 32 cents, and Cardano is at 82 cents, ranked at number 10 on CoinMarketCap.
全身擬態である私は幾度となく分解と生成を繰り返す 今、私が信号として感じている痛覚、記憶、自我。それらは果たして存在していると言えるだろうか。炎のような現象でしかない私はどこに向かおうとしているのか。
Awesome. Zaid from VerseX, if you'd like to open up your mic and join the space, my friend, welcome.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, very good. This is a bit of a coup, really. We've been trying to get you on the show for a while. I think this is third time lucky, is it?
I'd say more like 10th, but yeah. I've shown up before. We've just been full out development, so sometimes I feel like it's not really a time waste, but time could be well better spent. I'm not saying that this isn't a good time spent, but when you're developing a product, you just need to go full out sometimes rather than any distractions.
Zaid, you just need to touch a little grass every now and then. This is the grass you're touching right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool. Yeah, sometimes I forget, I'm telling you.
Well, look, I'm pleased you've had a little break so you could have a little chat with us about what you're doing. But before we jump into VerseX, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Now, that's a good British accent you got. Whereabouts are you from?
So I'm from Bolton. I'm 28 years old. The boring stuff. I've been developing VerseX for about 4 years now. Me and my friends started it, back in just after COVID. We had an idea we had an idea of making a game that's connected to the blockchain, and it just grew and grew to an idea of having a metaverse that serves the XRPL for monetizing gaming, and also introducing real world assets to the metaverse, such as retail, e-commerce, entertainment, and so on. So yeah.
Awesome. And what's your actual background before you got into crypto? What were you doing before this?
I've had a mixed background. I've done quite a lot of different things. I like to cook, so I've worked in a few food places. I've done sales and also owned a little car wash throughout COVID as well. So nothing really too spectacular in terms of, let's say executive jobs, but I've had my fair share of jobs. I've never really, let's say, fell in love with anything that I've done apart from what I'm doing now. So I guess it was all part of the plan.
But there is a pattern there, because a lot of the projects we're getting on, they have come from background of real grafting and really trying to achieve something and make something better. So there is a pattern there. So hats off to you. So with VerseX, then, where did you get the idea for all of this? Where did you get inspiration, and why XRP?
So the inspiration pretty much come from playing Decentraland, was trying out Sandbox and a few others. We was watching Blocktopia, which was an up and coming project that looked really good. They wanted to create a virtual world where, everything's connected to the blockchain and you can play and earn. That was pretty much most of the concepts of the metaverse. And we thought, how can we make it better? How can we... First of all, XRPL was the number one stop to kind of start off with, because we knew if we build on the XRPL compared to high Ethereum gas fees and other broken blockchains that take quite a while for a transaction to settle, we thought we'd be already on a level playing, let's say a further playing field on than any other people. So we decided to pick the XRPL because of the transaction speed, efficiency, and so on. The community is pretty small on the XRPL compared to many other blockchains, which we could have chose. But the XRPL had all the future, functionalities that we were looking for. So that's why we kept on picking the XRPL. Sorry, somebody was ringing me then. So you mentioned
just a minute ago that you and your friends, is that how many people you got involved to help you do this? I mean, describe your team.
So it was just myself and Adam. I think Adam's come on here quite a few times back in the day. So we, initially it was my sort of idea. I was trading XRPL coins like Xpunks. We're seeing even yourselves around. We're seeing quite a different few XRPL projects, but no games, no metaverses or anything like that. So we come to the realization after we bought some XRP that it would be good to start building on it. Myself, I've never really been a person who likes going to, let's say a physical job where you actually have to go there every day, interact with people. I'm more of a grafter where I like to stay in my own shell and just keep on building and, trying to better myself and, build something that's pretty unique. So yeah, I just thought I'd give myself a challenge, and here I am 4 years down the line, just keeping at it, trying to progress it every day, trying to get it better every day. And now I really can't stay away, so.
I like it. Now, where obviously for the people that aren't aware of your existence, can you tell us where we can find information about VerseX? Where have you got like a Telegram group? Have you got Xspace handle and stuff? But where else can I find information about you? You've got a website?
Yeah, we've got a website, we've got a white paper, which is pretty in-depth. We've done a lot of, put a lot of effort into the white paper outlining future plans. We do have the business plan and also a refined roadmap and marketing plan coming up. We're just working on that with our business advisor at the moment, who, he's also worked with many big companies. He's helped grow companies to millions of pounds. He's called Keith. He's from London. So we're working with him to kind of grow the business and look at it from like a business perspective rather than just like a project that's going to be building and hoping. We're trying to build a foundation and, really lay the grounds out in terms of documents and, having everything written out. So there's a practical plan to follow.
Awesome. I think Dan has just put some information about VerseX in the comments box. Yeah, good. So I was wondering, so you got a token as well, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And what you just mentioned the roadmap. What is highlighted in the roadmap? What other things is coming down the road?
So in the near future, the biggest and best integration that we're going to get is the blockchain integration. So that will allow player-to-player trading within the world. So people will be able to trade through a trade window. They'd be able to offer an NFT for XVR or an NFT for an NFT. The process is pretty expensive. So I guess the only thing that kind of holding the roadmap back is funding for that, because it's in excess of a few $100,000. So we're still making some workarounds to see what we can do for proof of concept to kind of show the community what we're going to build. So everybody's kind of all eyes and all ears into it. But yeah, the blockchain integration will be a massive part of the project, because that'll allow each item inside of VerseX to be traded, monetized, and, players will be able to have ownership and be able to actually value the items that they're holding rather than just, have another pixel on the computer. Because what we're trying to do is create an economy through the blockchain where people actually, can play, they can earn, they can make their own way in VerseX. We want people to be able to, even make a living from doing tasks in VerseX, like,
You're doing really well. So I think that there is so much scope for what you're building, but I suspect you have so much to do that do you struggle with time? Do you struggle with management of it?
Not time. I'd say really I've got quite a lot of time. to dedicate into VerseX. As the main struggle for us, and probably any other project building on the XRPL, is the lack of backing. We've been building for a few years now. We've done everything the right way, and it's still pretty hard to find funding and things that are actually going to accelerate the project a lot. So we've been working and doing every last little thing we can do to keep on building, keep the team on and keep pushing forward. So the time's not really an issue at all. We seem to get things done pretty fast. We like to, turn around things fast. The design team, Keith himself, and obviously myself. Sometimes we don't sleep, so it's time's not an issue.
I would guess. Sorry, guys. I would guess you are from Lancashire with the accent. Would I be anywhere closer?
You would be pretty close to Bolton.
Aye, I thought so, Bolton, my lad.
Yeah.
So that explains your tenacity. But I really wanted
I'm trying to get out of here, mate.
We all are. We gotta get out of this place. But I'm wondering, how hard has it been to get other people on board with your program, with your protocols, to get them to handshake with you and actually interact with VerseX?
So we've only just recently reached that stage of where we're trying to get users into the world testing it. But as it's a closed beta, I feel like we've had most of the people that we thought we'd have involved into it, and each and every single one of them have said that they've enjoyed it. So I think it's been a pretty easy onboarding process in that sort of sense. However, with it being a closed beta where you have to have requirements such as holding an NFT or tokens to enter, that does restrict on how many people we can get in. So I think, onboarding will be much, much easier once it becomes the open beta. I think, people will want to play VerseX, especially when there's an opportunity to earn or there's an opportunity to do stuff that you've never done online before.
Zaid, what do you think right now would be the amount of volume in the sense of people coming into your metaverse? Do you think it's going to be like maybe 20 players at a time, 50 players at a time, 100 players at a time? Where do you ballpark figure it?
That's a really good question, and that is actually something we're working on currently with Keith. He's actually in the audience as well. No, he skipped out. We're working on how many users we want to achieve. What does it take in terms of scalability, bandwidth, server updates, and so on, to get that amount of users, and what marketing tricks or tools do we need to use in order to get there as well. So we've got different ranges where, for the MVP, we want to start off with 10 to 100 users. And to get to 100 to 1,000 users, what do we need to do? So we're looking at, what we need to do as the next steps to be able to grow and, keep progressing to the next level. We're kind of taking it one step at a time. We can't just, let's say, advertise for everybody to come into VerseX because it's going to crash. We want to build out the right infrastructure, the right architecture, for the servers, and then slowly transition people onto it, unless there's let's say altcoins go parabolic and we can actually afford to get this stuff done. So it's also a challenge. I
was listening to a gaming space yesterday, and there's this one developer. He's working on his game to put on a blockchain. And he was looking for some venture capital from a company, but the discussion came up, or the question came up about the server cost, because he mentioned that they're planning on having about 10,000 active users on their servers. And they were thinking maybe the server cost would be somewhere around $5,000. And I was thinking, man, I think it's going to be a lot more than that if you have 10,000 active users. Where do you think the numbers would be cost-wise for 10,000 active users on your server costs?
Yeah, I would say something between £5,000 to £10,000 a month.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
Because 100 users would cost us around £550 a month. So I'm just assuming I'm just timesing it by 10 for for 1,000 users. And the more users that you have, the cheaper the rates get anyway, because you're using more bandwidth. So I think there is a cap, but tens of thousands of users is expensive. So you have to have a good monetization and revenue streams already set up before you achieve that. Otherwise, you'll just be paying bandwidth and getting nothing back in return.
So,
Zaid?
go ahead, Mike.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, Livery. We always end up cutting each other, don't we? It's like Zaid. I just wanted to say, so what are there any sort of incentives to get your first load of users over to VerseX?
Yes, so we've got different things that we're working on, like I say, right now, to get people onboarded. So, like, for example, I'll say a few things just off the top of my head, like free mints, influencer marketing, stuff like that. That's what we're working on towards as the next stage, is to get more users into VerseX, because at the moment we've pretty much just marketed it to our limited community, and there's also only so much that you can that many people that you can get in from your community. So we want to start outreaching from different communities, different marketing ways, like AMAs. I think that's a really good way to get your name out if you stay consistent at reaching out to different people. So sorry, mate.
You're finished.
Yeah, I was going to say there's quite a lot of different ways where we're going to market VerseX. This is really only the beginning, and we've not actually done any marketing as such since the beginning of the project, just because we're trying to tie everything in smoothly rather than overcomplicating things with many users and having a big sort of liability with too many users. So we're kind of doing things smartly. I wish we could do everything much faster, because it'd be 10 times less stressful, but limitations and resources do come into play sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say as well, do you think, so obviously the scope of the Metaverse, will there be, you open for potential partnerships from all the other different projects? Because obviously having the Metaverse is going to come to that, and you'll have I suppose a lot of people that will want to plug in to the VerseX.
Definitely, yeah. We do have a lot of projects already onboarded into VerseX. We have over 20 to 25. So I think as we see ourselves go live, that them sort of numbers are going to probably double, triple, quadruple, which brings many users into VerseX, because a lot of people, kind of bidded on us as a blind hope to say, I hope this world works, and when it does, that's when we're going to sell our products and services. But now we're actually live and we can prove and walk and show to investors. I feel like it's going to be much easier to onboard more projects as well.
Yeah, definitely. How would one go about integrating with VerseX?
It would be the case of contacting our team, and we'd see what your requirements are, see where you'd be best fit into VerseX. What do you guys want to achieve? So is it a store? Is it a custom map? Is it a social club? What is it that you wanted to have in VerseX? And then we'd go from finding you the best area in which our plans are for that given area where we think you'd fit the best. And then we have a designer team of 2 3D modelers, so we design your building from scratch based on your reference designs, and then we would integrate that into VerseX and also add any functionalities that you guys stated.
So if you like what you hear, please share the space. If you it'll be really good if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it'd be really good if you went and watched some of the other shows that we've done. Zaid, what are your biggest hurdles that you've found so far? What's been the hardest thing? Is it onboarding people into VerseX? Is that one of the biggest challenges you found so far?
I'd say so. Whilst we were building, yes, that's been quite a struggle. I'd say the main struggle for me would be probably community, interactions and stuff like that, because we've been posting 4,000 times since we started the project, almost a couple of times a day, that calculates as. So we've, been trying to push it out there, but to have pretty low engagement, it's really hard sometimes to kind of get engagement, but to kind of get the algorithm started, you need your core and base community to interact with them posts. So I'd realistically say, interactions, that's been the hardest part of, running the community. But I feel like that's because we build on the XRPL. The demographics for them sort of people are, workers, people who have children usually, people who are trying to build something for the future. So I don't really blame them as such, but it would be, we're setting up some incentives to kind of progress that. So we know our sort of weak spots and we're trying to improve on them as well.
Have you reached out to, I'm sure you probably have, but have you reached out to any sort of real world businesses to try and onboard businesses to show them in VerseX?
We have, and we did at first. We've reached out to many, Nike, you name it. We've sent a lot of emails, but that isn't where it stops. We're not just going to send an email and hope for the best. I feel like once we've got the full product built and we've got the proof of concept working as to where someone from Web 2 would want to move to Web 3, where it's a bit, it's much more immersive than what they're doing at the minute. We could sell that pretty easy to them pretty soon. So I think when the time's right, that's when we'll start approaching the Web 2 businesses like Nike and, other 3D outlets who want to kind of get ahead of the game. Because I know a lot of brands and, clothing companies, they do have an innovation budget. So, people do look into stuff like this to kind of progress the brand's future image. So I think we would have a definitely good chance to get some brands in soon.
I think a lot of people just forget how early we all are really in crypto and how it's such a new innovation, and it's just going to take a little bit of time to take off. But once you onboard some companies and they have a presence in the VerseX world, then things will fly. You just got to keep plugging away and keep pushing it, and I think things will happen. Dan, is there anything you wanted to add?
There was. You caught me on the back foot there. I wasn't ready. I was listening. Alizade, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, mate.
I know one thing I've been excited for to see in VerseX with the character play. You are doing something where people collect materials like wood and ore, which then lead on to building other tools and weapons and upgrade like that. Would you be able to share a bit on that?
Yeah, for sure. So we have basic skills that people can upgrade as well. People can level up, like wood cutting, mining, fishing, and also driving and interacting gets you experience as well. So we wanted it so people can actually, enjoy the world. They can actually have something to aim to rather than just walking around, maybe shopping and going to an event. Then what else you're going to do? We really wanted to captivate the gamers, get the revenue from that side, and also the players and the word of mouth from that side as well. Realistically, the idea around the materials and stuff like that it's going to be pretty much self-sustainable world. So if you guys wanted to build anything in your apartment, you might need to purchase, some sort of picture, or you need to purchase some furniture. If you wanted to build that yourself, you could do as well, which would require wood, it'd require metal or different materials that you combine. And that just kind of adds, a purpose to the world, gives people an opportunity to build and make money and so on. So it's, the skilling was pretty much designed to create an economy behind the metaverse and just kind of differentiate ourselves and be pretty much unique to the rest. I don't know if you guys have ever played RuneScape, but it'd be pretty much similar to RuneScape where people are constantly mining for 12 hours a day. But The only difference is this time you can actually make money. So if you was to sell your wood to somebody who needed it for building something for the land, or they needed it for the PvP world in the future, they would be able to sell it for XVR and then therefore liquidate it for XRP if that's what your game plan was. But I could imagine a lot of people holding it because we'll have opportunities for people to upgrade the stuff. We'll also have holders opportunities, so the more tokens you hold, the lower your fees will be, and so on. So we've got different incentives to kind of mitigate people dumping the tokens once they mine or they sell quite a lot of them. And the best is yet to come within the VerseX tokenomics. So yeah.
With the characters that you can level up, what's the maximum level that you could go to, and what's the benefits of when you get a level up?
So at the minute, the leveling up system is pretty basic. There's the leveling up, it only gets you better equipment. So like you can have a better mining axe, you can get a better wood cutting axe, and therefore you can chop wood and you can mine rocks a little bit quicker. So there's an incentive to kind of get your wood and get your rocks quicker, but in the future that also means you'll be making more money quicker. So the higher level you are, the better equipment you're going to be using, the more money you're going to be making. So for now it's pretty basic where you're just using better equipment, but in the future it'll make it so you're producing much faster. You can keeping up with the supply demand much faster, and also we want people to have some sort of novelty. It's not just all about utility in sort of the player level. People will just be happy being the highest player inside of VerseX. Novelty is a big thing in gaming, and I think having the chance to level up and to kind of to flaunt it, I feel like that's gonna be an incentive just in itself.
I was, years ago, as a kid, I was one of them guys that played RuneScape. And I was also one of them guys that would hit a rock for hours on end just to get some more to then go and get an item. I'm a big fan of them games. I don't play them too much these days. But I can see the attraction, where people would want to play that to, people like, leveling up. They like collecting stuff. And it's even better now. They'll be able to collect stuff to sell it. So, you've monetized the game.
That's it, yeah. And with the PvP world, which is going to be pretty much an open world map with some of the areas that we've already created, like the mall, the arena, them sort of maps would create awesome shooting maps as well. So we're going to have like a coincider world where people can shoot, and also you'll need food to heal. And if somebody's got fish from the other world, they'll be able to sell it to somebody who needs it in the PvP world. And also, same with the ammo, same with everything else. Both worlds will be pretty much in need of each other. So we're trying to create a dual economy as well as just the metaverse economy.
Hang on, I've got to pull you back there a bit. I heard the word ammo.
Yeah.
So there's guns.
In the other world, there'll be guns. So there's prop guns inside the metaverse just to, kind of ease everything in. But in the gaming world, there's actually
shooting that you can do. Oh, pretty cool.
But the assets will all be interoperable. So your characters you'll be able to use in the gaming world, and, apart from the guns, which will be restricted, and, you won't be able to shoot within the metaverse because it's more of a passive gaming world. Yeah.
It's a bit like a safe area when you're all grouped together as, with people online. You sort of have that area where you can't really hurt anyone. You're all just there to communicate, and then you venture off into the game side of that. Is there anything that you're doing? I know there's, obviously yourself, you've been around for a long time, and I think the only other sort of 3D metaverse ecosystem coming out is Expector. So it's just used two. Are you going to do anything together to be interoperable in any way?
We do have a teleport for Expector within our world. We've not spoken to Dirk in the recent months, so we've not really progressed any further on that idea. I know they're heading their direction and we're kind of heading our direction, so it's at the minute I think we're both just all out building, so there's nothing been discussed. But I think for the benefit of the users on the XRPL to have both worlds be able to use without having to leave one of the applications, I think that would be something.
It would. I think it's great when things are interoperable. Obviously, on chain it can be done, but it's not an easy task. And I know you have a hell of a lot of developments coming up to get to where you want to achieve. I did want to ask what has been because sometimes when we're doing developing and some things, I have moments where I want to rip my hair out, where I just cannot get it working. Have you had any of them moments building VerseX where it's just not worked?
I'd say there's been a lot of moments like that, but you've just got to keep on moving from it. The best thing about having Keith there is he's the backbone, as in to say this isn't going to work because of this and this, and what happens, if this and this and this happens. So majority of the decisions that I make are backed, behind something. So it's not really as if I've done something where I thought, fuck after. It's been a pretty wild journey. I feel like everything's been stressful, and it's pretty hard to do this. I don't think many people would be able to do it. The most challenging thing would probably be coming from a background where you have quite a bit of money, and then where you're grinding out for weeks and sometimes months without anything. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the hardest part of the whole thing.
And for the VerseX ecosystem, how big is it going to be overall? I know you've got a few different areas. Have you got a rough size of what people will be expecting when VerseX goes live? How big is this ecosystem going to be?
It's massive. It's around 6 kilometers wide, and it's also unlimited, so we don't have to stop at 6 kilometers. We can just keep building out as we create more areas. We're actually using world partitions, so that allows massive open world games as big as however you want. We've not procedurally generated any of our content. Everything's been created from scratch through our 3D in-house team. So it does take a bit of time to build it as big as we want it to be, but we have built quite a lot out pretty quick. So if you guys hold any tokens, we can get you guys added to the MVP, and for you guys as Daniel, we can add you on as partners, and you guys can check it out as well, because it's a big world. We've worked on it for a while. There's quite a lot of things to do, and I think a lot of people would be much more impressed if they did get inside of it rather than just hear people talk about it.
So Zaid, I just checked on live CoinWatch. You got a supply of 99 million, is that right?
No, we have a 1 billion.
1 billion, yeah. So, and is that black hold or anything?
Yes, it's black hold. In terms of distribution, we have around 210 million coins on the market. So there is 800 million coins that are still yet to be distributed. However, because we're pretty early on in the project, we do not want to distribute most of the coins through, airdrops and play-to-earn mechanisms when there's only 10 to 20 players, because the distribution isn't going to go very far. So we've got a lot of ideas for the future on how the tokens will get spread about between holders, and which amount of tokens will get locked and so on. It's pretty much like gold dust to us, XVR. We don't release it on the market every so often. As you can see, if somebody was to buy 10,000 XRPs worth, the price would go up by quite a lot. So it's, not many people are trying to trade them and sell them at the minute. Buy and sell them at the minute. I think that's mainly because they're waiting on the in-game functionalities to be written or NFTs to be available to be bought in XVR, which I wanted to ask you guys about.
That's quite a nice idea because you've got quite a small amount of tokens available, and the price is actually 0.0007 at the minute. So, not financial advice for anyone, but I think this, if you take off, it could be a good project to get behind.
Yeah, 100%. Not financial advice, but 10x isn't far away with XVR. It's just because the liquidity is really thin. Price can move pretty volatile, so it's it's also every investment that we have is a high risk investment. But we're building something that's going to be of use to a lot of people. So. Yes, that's all I'm saying.
Zaid, what about you have a second token, which is your X-Men token, which originally I think you had designed to where you would trade one X-Men in for an avatar. What is the current use on that X-Men token? I'm assuming it's not going to, shall we say, expire. It'll always have some usage. Or no?
As such, we are going to put out an expiration date on the X-Men minting, just because it was designed to realistically be an IOU token, so people can use it to claim an NFT from us, which would be a tier card. So we have a different amount of X-Men to redeem. So if you redeem 10, you'd get a silver card, for example. If you redeem 40, you'd get a baller card. So it really depended on how many X-Men you were to redeem. However, people have been holding on to them like a sort of an investment. However, the volume would be pretty low on it. So we are going to set out a date for people to start trading them in for the intended purpose, which was to claim a tier card. And to kind of get it less confusing for any other people who join in the project now, because when we first started, we didn't have any NFT minting, we didn't have XLS 16 or 20, so we had nothing to work off. We just had to go for an OU token and say, in the future we do owe you an NFT, but here's your token, as sort of for now.
So where does somebody need to go if they're holding, let's say, 10 X-Men? Where do they need to go to redeem them?
So Bids Marketplace, they held our launch pad, so they would need to go to them, and every token that's sent to ourselves we burn. So the supply's gone down to like 1,600 from 5,000, which is almost 60-70% burn. But yes, if people needed to trade them in and send them to the issuer wallet, they could send them straight to the issuer wallet, and we can send them the NFT if the launch pad through Bids isn't working. But that's something that we're working on at the minute, is making an announcement to let people know to redeem the tier cards and so on.
Okay, so you're saying that you can go to Bids and purchase with the X-Men token, not with XRP, but with the X-Men token.
That's right, yeah. You can use your X-Men token to redeem for this tier card NFT, which gets you a virtual store inside of VerseX.
And is there, once you get the store, is there going to be any kind of server cost for the store owners that they have to pay on a monthly basis, or they can just hold the store there until it's ready to use?
So at the beginning part, there will be no server fees for the MVP stage. However, when we do go live, there will be certain fees that people have to pay. So might be service charge if you're in the mall. If you're a vendor, we might charge rent, or we might charge, a commission only on sales. It really depends on the business model. And it really depends on what the vendor wants to do as well, as such. So I think we're quite open to working on a different few options of revenue, but as far as tier card holders go, we don't have any plans on charging them for rent, just because they've helped back the project throughout the beginning, so it'd be pretty harsh to do that.
Okay, so you can hold a tier card and then sell it for somebody who's maybe interested in buying a spot in the metaverse. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. So if you had a friend who had like a clothing store, you could sell half of the store to him, half of it to somebody else, and, charge him, let's say, £100 a month as, to rent the space from you, or you could create it yourself. It's really up to you guys what you want to do with the spot. In terms of designing it, we recommend people to design it through us. However, they can 3D model it themselves, and, they can purchase assets that are prefabricated and add it to the VerseX world. But we do recommend using our designers to build out whatever people want to build, because, everything will be uniform, everything will be, match with the art style of the world.
So just to recap there, could you run this in a I'll tell you what's the word, I've just lost the bloody word then. Sorry, just one moment, I'll get back to you.
No worries. Can we run it on a computer or phone?
What's happened here, Zaid, is you've just witnessed a Wes moment. They come once every show, and you've just been a part of that. So,
perfect.
This show is recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel, and you can hear Wes having a moment again and again and again. There's many of those moments. And they do make the show as it's a live show. You can't be live shows, really, can you? So I was going to ask, I did have a question, and now I'm going to have a moment. But hey, Zaid, have you listened to the show before?
Hello?
I have, yeah, quite a few times.
Ah, right, okay. So you will know then that Wes will give you a question from the project we had on 2 weeks ago. They asked us a really good question to put to you. So, Wes, take it away, my friend.
Well, my friend, luckily for you, it's just come to me what I forgot before. So I actually have 2 questions for you now. But the first one is, to my original point, could this operate as a franchise model? That's what I wanted to ask. I forgot the name franchise.
It depends what you mean by that, because it could in terms, but not really if you mean franchising VerseX out, as in do you mean like a white label it so we can create the server architecture and stuff like that, or what do you mean by?
So when I talk of franchise and think of franchise, people could buy your rights, operate under your licensing, sell plots of land on your behalf. You get a fee, they get a fee, but they're operating under your business name, but they're actually operating a business.
Yeah, so it'd be more like subletting than franchising. So yeah, I guess we could. I guess we could. I'm not sure on the legalities of it right now, but that's a really good idea.
Right. Anyway, let me get to the point, because I'm bloody talking nonsense here with that. This question here though is from the last project that we had on, and it was Farm Token. It was episode 75. And they've got this question they didn't know who you were, but they've got this next question here, and it is this: where do you see your project in 6 to 12 months, and what are you doing to make it happen?
Perfect. That's a good question. So I need key for this one. We've been doing the roadmap now. I can answer it. So we would love to see 500 to 1,000 users in about 12 months' time, with everything happening with crypto. The Genius bill passed, and the rate cuts probably incoming soon, and everything else that's coming along with Trump's election. I feel like we can see a big massive influx of users just to the XRPL. They're already much behind Solana and many other blockchains, so we can't say we can get 500 users just from the XRPL. So we're working around the block to kind of see where we need to get the 500 users from, and what we need to do to get there. So there's many different little steps that we have to take to get to there. So in 12 months' time, we'd hope to be, around the 500 users mark, but, that's hoping, and, we do whatever we will do to get there, which we've always done. We've always found a way to kind of reach further than what we can, and we always will do.
So, Zaid, I think you really are onto something. I mean, whenever projects come on, I have these ideas coming through my head, and I do see people using a platform like you're trying to develop to, sell properties, or estate agents, or concerts, live concerts, comedians, all that sort of stuff, where everything is global and 24/7 now. So I do see your platform being really quite successful. It's just going to take some time, and you're just so early. I think that's the biggest thing for it. So you're doing the right things, getting out there, shouting from the rooftops about what you're doing. I think it's great. But yeah, and thank you for coming on the show tonight. Have any of the other panel got anything to say?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I do have another question. So I'm looking at the bits.com, and I'm seeing the cards for sale, and I think they don't specifically state it, but it looks like they are for sale on X-Men. Do you also have avatars being sold for X-Men, or is the avatar just included with the card because it says like special 3D character, virtual store, large billboard? I'm looking at the gold one right now.
Yeah, so we do have different characters separate to the tier cards. However, if you were to get a tier card, you do get a character that's included within that. So once the blockchain authorizes your wallet, they'll check whether you've got the tier card, and then you'll be able to use the character that corresponds to that. We have season 1 characters which are actually sold out. We don't have any left apart from whatever's on the secondary market. We will be doing a season 2 characters in a couple of months once all the planning and everything else has been done. So there'll be more opportunities to get different avatars in VerseX. We do want to keep changing it up every 6 to 8 months. We'll have a new season where we'll have a different range of avatars. There'll be different cosmetics, there'll be different traits, and perhaps different utility as well. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for people to get avatars. One thing for us is to not really dilute the market. So we don't want to create 100,000 avatars right now. We wanted to create 180, which would be exclusive for people who supported the project early. And that's likewise with any of our NFTs. They're all pretty limited. There's never been 1,000. There's always been, let's say a couple of hundred. The only 1,000 collection we did was the tier cards, which equated to the 5,000 X-Men tokens. So we do value the integrity of the NFTs a lot. We don't want to devalue them. And
with that season 2 avatars, would they also be available to purchase with X-Men, or are you just going to go to the XRP on those season 2?
Yeah. X-Men was predominantly for tier cards, so there would be no X-Men involved in purchasing the characters. However, we would be happy to take XVR, which is the in-game currency for the season 2 characters, because we do want to influence and show people that XVR is also going to be the in-world token, and it's going to be used to facilitate most trades, most in-world fees. It's going to be used for predominantly majority of things. For people to claim rewards, they might have to hold a certain amount of XVR. So the main utility coin is XVR, not actually X-Men. X-Men is the IOU token.
Mike, go for it, my friend.
God, I just said half of it and I was on mute. Damn it. All right. I just wanted to ask, will there be a Ready Player One type leaderboard in VerseX?
They will actually. So we've designed a leaderboard already. That's for racing. we can adapt it to for player stats or for player earnings. So if there's somebody who's traded a certain amount of XVR, I think that'd be pretty cool to have a dynamic leaderboard that's, you know, updating every couple of seconds. That'd be very cool because, you know, people want to fight the ranks, and you're going to get some other whale who comes in who's bigger than everyone, who puts money in, and that's what everybody wants. We want to, you know, bring bigger people into VerseX, and if people can see competition and, you know, things going on, I feel like we can progress pretty quickly. So that's a really good idea for progression and to get people involved.
So Zaid, all we require now is for you to give us a question for the next project that we bring on next week. I want you to think of a question that I can ask them, or Wes can write down and ask them. It can be crypto related, it can be business related, it can be anything you feel that's been a burning issue for you yourself. Unless there's anyone else in the audience that would like to ask Zaid a question. No, there's no hands showing. So Zaid,
what about
Oh, let me just check if Wes, are you ready? He's not even answering. Is he? I'll have to.
So what problem?
It's recorded. You can hear it. Cool.
Perfect. So what problem is your project solving in the XRP space, and why do you need a token?
Cool, it's a double whammy, a double question. Very good. Now, obviously, by asking that question, you are contractually obliged to be here next week to listen to the answer. Hope that's all right.
Hello, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? I was just saying you're contractually.
I'm sorry. I still can't.
Oh no!
Tell you what. Can you hear me, Zaid?
Yep, I hear you clear.
All right, okay. Palace, just take a break then.
Oh, perfect.
Palace, can you hear me?
I'll most likely be here.
Palace, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. I can hear VerseX as well. You just can't hear me. Is that
all right? Yeah, some weird spacey thing or whatever. Okay, so VerseX. So thank you very much for joining us. And if you have any other comments before we do the finishing part of the show?
No, I'd like to appreciate your guys' time. I just wanted to ask Daniel a question.
Oh, go for it. Absolutely. Daniel?
So Radical X is one of the most advanced marketplaces on the XRPL. Have you got any plans to update your UI and the marketing for that?
Yeah, we upgraded it to Fuzion XIO.
That's the one, Fuzion.
So there is, at the moment, Fuzion is very supportive of individual artists and stuff. Many lean on art with NFTs. There's an expansion part sort of coming after. We're about to add, funnily enough, GLB and GLTF files off the top of my head for minting. Along with augmented reality viewing capability. So so it's FBX, GLB, and GLTF, not USDZ though. So we're adding them, but FBX is already on there. But the other two files, when they come on to mint, then we'll have the augmented reality viewer. So there comes a stage. So that's kind of the reason them developments are in place is, even though they're open to the public, it's actually to do with another program we have for our own developments. So once that's on, it's open to the public to use, but it's actually for ourselves as well. And then the platform will start expanding in kind of different ways. So at the moment, it's reasonably integral with a slight bit of interoperability, but then it's going to open up a lot more. So a lot more collections, decks. There's two ways to earn passive income on Fuzion at the moment. There's going to be a third one that's coming on called trust set validation, to do with trust lines and stuff. So there's quite a lot to come, especially on the homepage, which isn't actually on there at the moment. We're probably about, from the roadmap we had of this year, we're probably about 6 weeks behind on it. And I was in Africa for about just over 2.5 months, roughly. So that's it. Didn't put a hold on everything, but what we've done is I put a load of developments in while I was away. So focus on these areas, and then we'll launch them when I get back. So that's what we have coming. So there'll be a lot more currency logos and collections on the ledger appearing on Fuzion as time goes on. But yeah, the UI on it at the moment is, you can almost say, quite basic, but that's because we open up through each feature as opposed to sort of have all the features on them which wouldn't all fully work.
Perfect. I get that approach.
Yeah. So but yeah, the main one which we have on next, especially with AR, is actually to do with the AVA program. Funnily enough. So
can people projects trade their NFTs in return for the tokens that they, so for example, if we listed a collection, people would be able to pay in XVR?
That's right, yeah, and actually XVR and X-Men at the same time for offers. So you could go on there and offer to buy any NFT you see with with VerseX, with the VerseX token, as long as the issuer has the trust line. So any NFT that you see on there, but yeah, you can do that now. So you can sell in any asset. We've got all currency minting coming. That's the one after this next upgrade. So you'll be able to create a collection and then offer that out to mint in your own token. That's one of the big ones that's been requested a lot from the meme coin community. Actually, they really wanted that. I know a lot of platforms generally do it where they sort of custom code it with the issuer. Ours would be automated, so once that's on, then it's on. We don't have to keep adding issuers for people, so no one will ever need to contact support to have it done. You could just manually select which asset you want. So you could even do it in XDX if you wanted to. You could create a collection for VerseX and have it mint in XDX if you wanted to, so the issuer owns it. But yeah, so every person will be able to pick which asset they want to mint with. That's probably the next massive one we've got coming on. But the newest upgrade coming, which is sort of any day now, it might even be on tomorrow, is money for the AVA program. And then as you'll see as time goes on, each bit we open up, it will start opening up the UI on the homepage and that. Yeah, I think have you already got a profile on Fuzion? I can't remember.
I think I made one a bit ago, but I'll recheck it out and I'll give you a message.
You can. I don't know if because I know you're a busy guy. You can, if you have a profile on Fuzion, you can pick your native asset. It could be X-Men or it could be the VerseX native token. You can pick it on your profile, and then other users can validate your profile with that token. So you earn that, so you can earn your own token back. You could also pick a different token if you wanted to. Out of the 54,000 plus assets in the XRP Ledger, you could decide which one you want to earn. You can switch it, and you can choose the amount as well. If you haven't had a play of it, it might be worth a go. And then so you can earn through validation of your own asset, and then other users can also do that as well with VerseX or X-Men. So yeah, the decentralized validation features that's one part we launched. I think it was last year, sort of towards the back end of last year. And that was to provide decentralized validation. So you earn blue and gold check marks by people validating you and you validating others. So we as a platform have no control who is valid and who is not. We have some pretty powerful validators, which comes down to XIO governance. I know Live3, he goes around validating projects on Fuzion. He's validated artists on Fuzion. And then what will happen later with them validation points, just scores on your profile on the homepage. What will happen with them points is you will then be able to spend them points to invite others on for free. So there's more coming with it. But yeah, in terms of UI, it's just the same as yourself, I guess. Step by step. When we started years ago, it was around the same time as you actually. We was developing stuff that no one had done yet. Now is, I think, like all currency trading's becoming a little bit more popular. But now we're doing other stuff which hasn't quite been done before. So it gets quite, we'll probably be the first platform to have augmented reality viewing. I think I haven't found a platform that's done that yet, with 3D NFTs, and then a few developments we have after. They haven't been done on the Ledger before, and including a development we call the YEM, that hadn't been done on the Ledger either. So yeah, I understand your pain with development, Slade. Yeah, I'm the same as you. Doing
something new isn't easy, is it?
No, it's not. It's quite challenging. It's exciting, but it's quite challenging.
Yeah.
But yeah, this next one's a big. All currency minting and the 3D viewer stuff is a big one I'm into. It's going to massively benefit us, especially with our XD3 project. But yeah, XD1 will, as in Fuzion XIO, will open up over time and be quite useful to people.
I'm just wondering as well. I did cut out before. Did you have a question as well for the next project, VerseX?
I did. I said, what was it now? What problem is your project solving on the XRP blockchain, and why do you have a token? Like, what's the purpose?
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, that's great.
Did you write that down, Wes? Because normally, after the past year and a half of listening to you do these shows, there's a notebook that flies around. This show, I didn't hear that.
He might be using his new laptop, Daniel.
I am, but I've still got a notepad.
Zaid, one quick question that I just thought about. Are you going to be allowing avatars produced by somebody else inside your metaverse?
Yes, through partners. We wouldn't just, allow anybody to upload an avatar, making our avatars worthless. We would only do it through a partnership, and only if the partnership was viable and beneficial, really.
Fair enough. I mean, you need to make your money,
Yeah, for example, Sologenic, we made a character for them a couple of months back, and we've not really gone much further in integrating that character, but we would be open to other projects integrating the characters if everything was right, and if of course the community would want that character into VerseX and the characters fit in. So it does depend on a few different factors, that one.
I think Ovo's setting up their store in the metaverse, aren't they? In your metaverse?
Yeah, they already actually created one. They've got it finalized now.
They also have a character, their Ovo Knot. Is that something you're talking about, that maybe if they have a store there, you may allow their avatars, or you're talking about different type of permission?
So even if they had a store there, we wouldn't just allow their avatar to be usable. It'd be a sort of a premium feature that people have to earn, or they have to, if they wanted to use an avatar as like the shopkeeper inside of VerseX, that'd be totally fine. But to have it as the third player character, which anybody can use, then I think that means something pretty big. So we wouldn't just allow any character to be that person.
I see. Okay. The characters that are involved or are included in your VerseX cards, the bronze, the silver, the gold, and the baller, those are characters that are pretty much going to be free to go anywhere on your metaverse, or are they locked to certain, shall we say, areas of the metaverse?
Yeah, they're free to go wherever. We don't have any restrictions on the characters, or we don't have any special areas which characters can go and some can't. However, we do have a thing called a VX access card, which is it gets you cheaper events, it gets you access to certain events for free, and also when we make new areas for the first time, it also gets you to test them areas out before anyone else. So that's for the tier card utility. That's just an extra perk, what you get other than owning a virtual store.
Okay, awesome. Are there any further questions, or Zaid, were you going to say something else?
No, I was going to say thank you very much for your questions. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, you know what? Thank you very much for joining us. Like we said before, we've definitely been very, very interested in getting you on board and to learn a little bit more about your metaverse, VerseX. Because there's a lot of stuff out there, on X and stuff, but you never really find out too much until you sit down, talk to the developer for 30, 40, 50 minutes. and really get to the nitty gritty with the nice meaty parts of the information.
We get to know people here. We get to know people on this chat, definitely.
We have created a lot of friends interviewing them. Yes, we have.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You asked the right questions, and I'm sure the community are happy with the questions that you guys have asked, because, you know, we've had a few different AMAs, and this is one of the most interactive and the most, you know, ones that you get questions chucked at you. You don't have to be reading from a script for 40 minutes, so it's pretty cool.
We will, when it goes on YouTube, Raylene, who's here, she's been making some awesome videos on our YouTube channel. Absolutely outstanding. And I'm sure she'll do an amazing one for this interview. So I'll make sure we send you a link when it comes out so you can watch it. It'll be broadcast on YouTube.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has. All right. So this show was sponsored by FuzionXIO.com, a premier permissionless NFT platform where you can mint and sell NFTs in any of the over 54,000 coins on the XRPL. And soon to be where you need to go to get the future YEM Part 1 and 2 rewards. The current YEM Infinity reward already went out today, so check your wallets. Remember, to be able to unlock the yield earning mechanism, you will need to own at least one XIO, and the amount of Yen Infinity reward depends on the amount of XDX you own. Thank you for joining us today and learning about the VerseX Metaverse. Awesome things going on there. If you have any questions, please reach out to Zaid and learn more about his project. And also, please follow all speakers here. Please do not take anything we say as financial advice. Do your own research. With that said, we bid you farewell and hope you join us again next week for another deep dive into the blockchain world. This show is recorded, so if you missed a part of it, you can go back and listen to the show. Please share and have a beautiful day, people. Bye-bye.